everybody, my name is Elizabeth and welcome back to my channel. Well, as you can see, I still have my broken leg. So I'm getting around much better. I can walk, mostly with a cane, but I have been doing a little walking in the house without a cane, but I'm still in my boot. The bones are still healing, so I am limited to what I can get out and do. But I have been getting more creative with the kinds of things that I'm doing here in my home to kind of keep myself from going completely insane out of boredom. So I thought maybe I would kind of show you one of the projects, not really project, but like one of the hobbies I have taken up in the last couple of weeks to keep myself engaged, and so I'm not just watching TV all day. So let me show you what I've been working on. All right, so this is an art project kind of that I've been doing. I found a pack of 6 of these on Amazon, and you basically, it's sort of like a color by number thing, but you're putting like little plastic jewel things on it to make a picture. And I got 6 of them it was a pack for like less than $20. And so I thought, you know what, that'll be something that I can just sit and do in the evening and just, that way I'm not just watching TV all the time. So I know some people will find this boring, but I know a lot of other people kind of enjoy just kind of sitting and watching art get made and find it peaceful. So I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of what the process is and how you do it. And then I'm just going to turn on some music and let you guys watch me do this art piece. So it is going to take me a couple weeks. So if you see the lighting change, or if I pop back in and have a different hairdo or a different outfit, that's why. It's because it's going to take me a while to do it. So yeah, let me show you how it's done. Okay, so this is the one I decided to do next. I think it's going to be sort of like, look like the Northern Lights, which kind of reminded me of my recent trip to Alaska, if you saw that vlog where I talked about that. And I also love purple, and there's a lot of purple in this one. So I decided to do this one next. So let me show you. It's covered in with this plastic to start with, because this, the canvas, for lack of a better term, is sticky, and it's how the gems stay on. So first I'm going to peel that off. There we go. I'm going to set that aside because between, it's going to take me several days/weeks, like I said, and it is, I will put that plastic back on when I'm not working on it to keep it sticky. So it is a little wrinkled right now because they actually come rolled up like this, but it should flatten out as it sits here and as I work on it. So each one, I guess I'll keep showing you this one. Each one comes rolled up like this, and then inside it has the gems for each art project. So for this one, it came with all of these packets of beads/gems. And then it also comes with this little tray, and then this little wand that is how you actually stick them to, you pick it up with a little wand and stick it on. So I'll show you a couple, and then I'll put on some music and you can just watch me work. So the wand has this little metal tip that's kind of hollow. And so you stick it in this glue stuff to start with, and it helps you pick up the rounded top of the bead. So you can see it gets a little of that glue in there, and that will last for, many beads. And so you just pick up a bead. And then it gave me the number, it's number 28. So I look for the letter K, and I just find all the letter K's. So there's one right there. And it is sticky, but it's not like super glue sticky. So, ooh. So if I need to like adjust it afterwards, it'll let me kind of like scooch it over with the wand. Yeah, so that's how you do it. And then, yeah, this is going to take me a while to do because I don't have the patience to sit here and do it all in one sitting. So yeah, let me turn on some music and we'll get this art project underway. All right, so here it is partway finished. I'm not quite a quarter of the way through the colors. But I did just realize that I made a mistake in this section here. I am working on the color that is labeled 05, which is number 5. And for some reason I had my head 6, and so several of these beads are on the number 6. And I was like, okay, do I try to pry them all up, figure out which of those, because some of the colors are, so similar that I'd be probably pry up some ones that are in the correct spot. Or is it a small enough patch where I just keep going and not worry about it and make sure I put all the rest of these on the correct number? And so I decided to go that route. I'm not going to pry up any of these, but I am a perfectionist, so it kind of annoys me that I did that. But anyway, yeah, so here's what it looks like so far. And I know I sped up showing you guys this, but it's taken me probably about 3 hours to get to this point, maybe more. But yeah, so just to give you an idea of how fast the process is, that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so quick update. I am just a little over halfway through when it comes to how many of the colors I've gotten through. About twice now I have been putting them, like the leftovers, back in their little envelopes and spilled the rest of them onto the sticky canvas. So that was very smart of me, and I did it twice, so I did not learn after the first time. So I had to, pry them up and put them back. But yeah, it's about halfway through. Well, I'm finally finished. So here's what the completed artwork looks like. I like it well enough. Now, I don't know if this makes me a snob or not, but I probably won't hang this in my house or anything. I like to, put up stuff that that was not a craft. Some people are great at crafting and make stuff that's very unique and great, but me buying a paint by numbers from the store or from Amazon and hanging on my wall is just not something that's going to happen. So this one is probably going to end up being my favorite of all of them. But yeah, it's just not something I'm going to hang on my wall here in my home. But what I might do is I might take it with me to work once I am cleared to go back to the office and hang it up in my cube, because I do have a good sized cube with a lot of wall space. And so I might do that. I might take this artwork that I'm making and put it there, because I don't really have a whole lot hanging up. And yeah, that's a place where I can actually use it and not also hang something so kitschy in my own home. So but I do have fun doing it. It's very relaxing. I turn on, music or an audiobook or a podcast or just the TV or whatever, and just kind of do it. And it's kind of relaxing and just kind of a methodical thing to do. And it's kind of given me something to do while I'm kind of cooped up here at home. And yeah, so I had fun. Now, I'm not going to record myself doing the rest of them. You don't have to worry about me becoming a crafting, YouTube channel or anything. I'm not really a crafter. However, I do have one other thing that I got for myself as I'm kind of wrapping up my time here at home, that I'm probably going to do and record. So you might see one more video of me kind of, entertaining myself here at home, but I am, fingers crossed, going to be getting back out and doing stuff and vlogging again like normal here very, very, very soon. So I'm hoping that as of July, I'll start being able to go back to posting every week and go back to posting actual fun stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you weren't too bored. I hope you just kind of found it fun and relaxing just to watch me do this crystal art. If you did like it, go ahead and give it a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.